Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. Today's guest is someone I've been very eager to meet and speak with. Mr. Jordan Fengel is the Sustainability Manager for Tetrapak. How are you, Jordan?
I'm doing great, Cory. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. You guys are doing great things in the world of sustainable packaging, and I'm excited to tell the world about it. So tell us about your background a little bit, Jordan. Where are you from? How'd you get into this kind of industry?
Yeah, I have an interesting background. I started off actually in the medical field. So I was a paramedic for over a decade, and it kind of came to a career choice of, do I want to keep working in the medical industry, or what do I really want to do with my life? And so actually I got onto a green team of one of the medical industries that I was working at as a paramedic. And I really liked the whole recycling aspect and dealing with trying to educate people and recycle right. And it really kind of connected. I grew up in California, so the hippie kid back in the early 80s, and we painted the chasing arrows on our school, the side of it, back when it was really getting going. So it really connected with me, I think. And I like to point to, medicine is all about systems and all of the systems working. So in your body, you have all of these, the circulatory, endocrine, all these different systems, and they all have to work. Otherwise you get sick. So I found that connection in the material management industry, in that we have consumers, we have the manufacturers and processors and in markets, and all of these things actually have to work together, or, quote unquote, the system is sick. And so I think that's some of the things I'd like to work on is the problems that we have with either in markets or communication with people. And so that's why I really enjoy what we do, is because it's systems-based thinking.
It's a great way. Yeah, great way of thinking about it. I like that a lot. It all must work together or it doesn't function. And there are some things in the world of packaging that are broken that we're working hard to fix.
Right.
But, I think Tetra Pak is one of the good things, and I'd like to talk about it. And can you tell us about how it works? What's it made out of? How is it recycled? All that stuff.
For sure. I guess I'll start off with who actually Tetra Pak is, in case people don't know. I mean, Once you see it, it's kind of like having a red car. That's all you see is red cars. So once you go into a grocery store and you look at how many things are actually in cartons, you never not see them. But Tetra Pak it's a world leading food processing and packaging company. So we make packaging, obviously the carton, which is ubiquitous. So we have the gable top cartons, your half gallon or your little school, half pint milk cartons. And then we also have an aseptic or a shelf stable carton. So your broth and your soup and stuff like that. But also we make processing equipment for a lot of different products like cheese and ice cream. And so the everyday commodities that you go out and buy at the stores oftentimes is actually produced on equipment made by Tetra Pak, which is kind of interesting. So that's who we are as a company. And really, we have a big goal of becoming the world's most sustainable packaging. And that, by 2030, we want to have a package that's made entirely from renewable materials and or recycled content, fully recyclable in the traditional recycling stream. And it really doesn't ever compromise the food safety requirement that not only brands require, but what consumers expect. Our company had started on, the saying with a promise, basically, it protects what's good. And so everything that we do in our company really starts with that promise. And that's why we continue to push innovation, work with our customers, and it realizes our vision. We have a commitment to make sure that food is available and safe everywhere.
And shelf stable and can be distributed. And all of these things. A lot of people don't think about the sustainability of our food source and the sustainability of, you go to the grocery store and make sure that soup's going to be there so my kids can eat. It's an aspect of sustainability that's often overlooked. Thank you so much for explaining what Tetra Pak is and where your future goals are. What kind of materials are used in Tetra Pak today that the consumer can know about?
Right. And it's actually very broad. So basically any food or beverage product that that exists out there can be put into a carton, so long as it's not carbonated. So It's one thing that we don't have is the ability to put a carbonated beverage into the carton. But, I think, looking at the different types of products or even just materials that Tetra Pak would replace or, brands would transition to, I think we like to make the point that there's not a hero package out there. Right. Every package can serve a role and play an important part in delivering a product to the consumers as they expect. But we do believe that our cartons are really a good choice for brands to use to deliver the products to customers. We're largely fiber-based, so over 70% fiber-based package. Again, I mentioned the aseptic or shelf-stable packaging. And really, if we can dig into that it removes the need for refrigeration. And if you look at the carbon footprint of refrigeration from a production standpoint, a distribution standpoint, and a retail standpoint, it's huge. And so having that ability to put a product into a carton without the use of preservatives or anything else, I mean, it's the same product and it lasts up to 6 months to a year at ambient temperatures. That's huge. And also it addresses a whole food waste issue. If you look at, 2/3 of global emissions can be attributed to food waste. And so, and lastly, cartons are widely recyclable. And I know that's a big question out there about Tetrapak and every other manufacturer out there that does cartons. And yes, they are recyclable. The multi-layer component of that package does not make it unrecyclable or hard to recycle. It actually goes really well into the traditional stream, and we can go into that further. But last year was really cool because we actually expanded the production of our aseptic cartons with plant-based plastics at our Denton, Texas facility. So we brought that production up here into Texas where we're based. And then we're also using plant-based caps. So really all of our plant-based materials are Bon Sucro certified. And if you haven't checked that out, people can look it up on Google. It's a really great certification, and it just points to being land stewards and environmental stewards of the materials that we source to make our sugarcane based plastic. But this is all put together. It's a big step forward for our customers who are dedicated to bringing sustainable packaging options to the consumers in the North American market.
That's really fantastic. I didn't know that. I didn't think about the sustainability of the food itself being so shelf stable. 6 months to a year is incredible. 2/3 of global emissions from food waste. That's an impressive number. I've never heard that. Yep. I know a massive amount of fresh food gets thrown away because it spoils, and that's terrible and a real problem in our system. But it sounds like you guys are solving some problems. Well done.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good technology. We're doing some cool tests with, for instance, Dallas Independent School District, having them not have chilled milk in the half-pint container and using shelf-stable aseptic. And it's going really well. Kids are receptive to it. It tastes the same. It acts the same, performs the same, but the refrigeration component is taken out of that until they actually want to serve it to the children. They can put it in the refrigerator and chill it.
That's incredible. And the lack of need for refrigeration for that is, the carbon footprint is massive on refrigeration. I know all of those units on the roof in the school or the big chiller room, and well, this will make it easier to store too. And all these things help the school and the municipalities that use that product. Great idea.
Right. Yeah. And it's think about too, the food waste reduction, currently school milk needs to be handed out by a certain time, right? Because there's the expiration date on it. So kind of regardless if a kid wants milk or not, they're handed milk. So with the aseptic technology, you can actually, ask kids, do you want the milk? Because you don't have to, give it away by a certain time. But even more so, if they decide not to open that package, they can throw it in their backpack and it's not going to spoil, and they can take it home. And, because it has that shelf stable ability.
That's incredible. What another way to look at sustainability. Well done. There's nothing sustainable about damaged goods or spoiled food. We talk about that quite a bit.
Right.
Well done. So what's next for Tetrapak? Anything exciting going on? You're in Texas now. Do you have other locations opening up or anything else?
So Tetrapak, the headquarters is located in Texas here. And then obviously, so we're in 160 different countries and 25,000 employees plus. So a large global footprint, but we have a lot of sustainability goals that we've set as a leading global corporation. We did a commitment to net zero operations in our own company here by 2030, and then across the full value chain by 2050. We're part of the RE100 group, which is a voluntary initiative to use renewable energy throughout our global portfolio. We hit 83% globally in 2020, and we were happy enough to be able to say that as of 2020, the United States and Canada markets are all at 100% renewable energy. And that includes on-site solar arrays too. So a lot of people ask, is that just through REC credits? And it's not. We actually have at our Denton facility acres of solar panels there that generate inside electricity.
Kudos to you. That's impressive. Absolutely impressive. I would love to see one of your facilities someday.
Yeah, come out to Texas, get some barbecue.
Yeah, I just got back from Austin. What a neat city. We were there for the SpecRite convention. That company is amazing and really, really growing quickly. Have you heard of SpecRite?
I did. I saw some of the posts that you had on LinkedIn there about that visit with Adam. Yeah, it looked like a good crowd that you guys were with, and yeah, it looked like a good event.
I think the future of packaging definitely goes into a spec first approach, and what they're doing is making it so much easier for brands and for companies to spec in the right materials and make sure it's it's the right Tetra Pak carton, it's the right SKU, it's the right artwork, it's the updated, all of these things are incredible. Is that something that you guys would consider someday joining something like that?
There's a lot of departments and a lot of people. So, we look into, we really do believe in collaboration and partnerships and utilizing internal partnerships to really make things happen. I say it often in addressing climate change or addressing consumer needs. I don't think there's one sector or one industry or one company that's going to be able to do it on our own, right? So anything that you can do to better either the package or the messaging or just the handleability of a package, right, would serve us good. So I'm sure if we haven't already looked at it, I'm sure someone would look at it.
I think that's great. Great step. I see some guitars behind you. Are you a musician?
So those are my basses. That was my being forced to play piano as a child. My seventh grade ambition of after I got my first job at 14 was to buy my own bass. And so, when I have time, I still like to play music, which other in our industry, Dan Felton, who's the executive director of American, he also plays bass. There's a lot of bassists out there actually I found just by hanging those things up in my office here.
They're beautiful guitars. Yeah. Bass is fun. I actually played it briefly in high school. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
It's not easy. That's for sure.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's 4 strings, should be easy, and it's fun though. Yeah, music it's a good tool to relax. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted on the 2025 initiatives and the 2030 initiatives and all of those. Maybe we'll do an interview here in a year or so and catch up.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be great.
Sounds good.
I'd like to thank Fengel for your sponsorship of this podcast. If you're listening, please take a minute to subscribe and tell your friends about us. Thanks again, Jordan. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Cory. Thank you very much.